What happens when nature is left totally alone? Let's journey to St. Matthew Island, a lonely outpost in the Bering Strait with a story you won't believe. St. Matthew Island sits far off Alaska, surrounded by nothing but freezing waves and endless fog. No towns, no people, just wild tundra and silence. For most of history, not a single human lived here, just seabirds, foxes, and the howling wind. In 1944, during World War II, while trying to supply a remote island in the Bering Sea with an emergency food source, the US Coast Guard set in motion a classic wildlife population experiment by releasing 29 reindeer onto the island as a backup food source for the people. Transported by barge from Nunivak Island, the animals landed on an island paradise. 4-inch thick lichen carpets covered the island's terrain, and the people at the Coast Guard station were the reindeer's only potential predators. As World War II drew to a close, the Coast Guard withdrew the people from the island. The remaining inhabitants of St. Matthew Island were the seabirds that nested on its cliffs, the Arctic fox, and a single species of field mouse. With no predators and tons of food, the reindeer thrived at first. In less than 20 years, the herd exploded to over 6,000. A living stampede of antlers and hooves right in the middle of nowhere. But then, disaster struck. The island's plants couldn't keep up. The reindeer ate almost everything. Without enough food, the population crashed, nearly all of them died off. That's what Dave Klein saw when he visited the island in 1957. Klein was then a biologist working for the US Fish and Wildlife Service. The first time he walked St. Matthew Island in 1957, he and his field assistant Jim Wisenhunt counted 1350 reindeer, most of them fat and in excellent shape. Klein noticed that the reindeer had trampled the lichen mats, a sign of impending disaster, noting that the animal's body size had decreased since his last visit, as had the ratio of young to adult reindeer. All signs pointed to a coming crash. When Klein returned in the summer of 1966, he, another biologist and a botanist, found the island covered in skeletons. They counted no reindeer calves, only 41 females, and one male with abnormal antlers that was probably incapable of breeding. Within months, the reindeer population on St. Matthew had declined by 99%. Putting together clues found among the bones, Klein calculated that thousands of reindeer had starved to death during the winter following his last visit, when he counted 6,000 animals on the island. Without a breeding population, the reindeer on St. Matthew were extinct by the 1980s. The unintended experiment in population dynamics and population growth ecology ended as it began, with winds howling over the green hills of a remote island in the Bering Sea, a place where Arctic foxes are once again the largest mammals roaming the tundra. Today, the island is empty again, with just a few animal bones as silent reminders. St. Matthew Island is a wild lesson about nature, balance, and what can happen when humans try to tinker with the wild. Leave me a comment if you liked this story and tell me what you think about this experiment.